I was taken away in an ambulance and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. When I went home, broke. I really derailed my life here. Welcome to Bangkok, Thailand. I'm Cal. I've been living here in the city for 8.5 years. And in today's video, I want to share the 5 biggest mistakes that I made when I first moved to this city. We're not talking the small mistakes, we're talking the big ones. And these are very common mistakes amongst expats. Now, whether you're at risk of making our first mistake probably depends on your particular situation. But when I first moved to Thailand, I was in my mid to late 20s with a plan to establish myself long-term and set up online income sources. And Thailand can really be the perfect place for many digital nomads. It's got a relatively low cost of living and excellent infrastructure, but it's also a prime tourist destination, and there are a lot of distractions here. And most people who move to Thailand first came here on holiday and decided, what a great place, I want to stay here long term. But life on holiday is very different than real life. It's very easy for newcomers to get caught in negative habits here, especially around drinking and nightlife. And my journey of living here in Thailand that started in 2015 with many goals of developing online earnings ended in 2018 when I went home broke. I enjoyed that holiday mode a little too long, and I never really set myself up for success here. And what you need to remember, the longer you spend in Thailand outside the world of work, the harder it's going to be for you to reintegrate if you eventually need to move back home. And for me, when I first moved to Thailand, I left a good career. When I returned to Canada, I applied for plenty of professional jobs. I didn't get any responses. And I remember sitting on a bus, riding through the winter of Canada thinking, oh boy, I really derailed my life here. And I ultimately found myself working at a grocery store. This wasn't a job that I'd done since I was a teenager. That was a pretty steep fall, but it is a very common story amongst the expat community here in Thailand. If you move here and you lack a clear career plan, you're gonna find yourself at the bottom of the totem pole if you need to return to your home country. But you'll probably be older and poorer. And the longer that you spent in Thailand, the harder it will be to find any kind of job back home. And as you get older, there are no social safety nets here in Thailand. If you're not saving for retirement, if you're not building your own pension fund, you're gonna end up broke at a much older age. And I've met plenty of expats that took this path in life, and it can end very, very badly. And this leads to the second key mistake that I made when I moved to Thailand. I failed to establish a very clear budget for myself. And whether you're working or aspiring to be a digital nomad or retiring here in Thailand, budgeting is an absolute necessity. The truth is, you can spend very little money here in Thailand, but you can also spend a lot, and a lot more than you might spend in your home country. Life in Thailand can really feel like a live for the moment environment, and it's very easy to get caught up in overspending. People move to Thailand and they take on an entirely different personality and budgeting standard. They go out every night, they go on regular vacations, and they neglect the types of habits and practices that they probably had back home. Now for me, when I moved here in 2015, if I'd sat back and really drawn up a budget, I would have been much more aware that I was gonna run out of money. Now I've covered budgets extensively in other videos. I'll put the links in the description, but this is something that you really wanna do if you're planning to move to Thailand, and you have to establish what kind of budget is realistic for you. My next big mistake connects back to my holiday mode mentality. That was failing to establish a long-term visa plan. For the first year that I lived here in Bangkok, I used a visa exemption, entering the country for 30 days and extending it at the immigration office before flying out and repeating the whole process again. Now recently, immigration has revised these rules and you can get 60 days and extend that so 90 total. But just over a year into my life in Thailand, I was stopped by immigration when I was re-entering the country on one of my many border runs. I was flying in from Singapore at the time, and the immigration officer asked me, "What exactly are you doing in Thailand?" And I was sent to see the supervisor. "This is not something you want." Fortunately, at that time I was just about to start a job working at a university, actually leaving and re-entering the country in order to do the non-B visa with a work permit. I got lucky that they stopped me when I actually had all the documentation for the change of visa. But if you're planning to live in Thailand long term, keep in mind that anything over a year, you're starting to face risks for getting stopped by immigration, and you want to develop a long-term visa plan. Unfortunately, there are more visas now. You can go with the Destination Thailand visa. That's the digital nomad visa. I've covered that in other videos, so I'm not going to go over it here, but you have plenty of options. You need to organize them. And all this talk of organizational and bureaucratic failures on my part brings me to my next mistake. And that was failing to get health insurance while I lived here for that first year. I came to Thailand without much knowledge of anything, and I'm willingly admitting that now. I've learned a lot since then, and I actually suffered a head injury in an accident. I was taken away in an ambulance and brought into a public hospital setting. I had to get sent to the ER and get a bunch of stitches in my head, and the doctor patched me up and sent me on my way. But this was a smaller hospital, and the doctors and nurses didn't speak much English. So there I was in my hotel room, laying there with a bandaged up head, stitches, and no clue what to do next. Fortunately, at the time, I had befriended a nurse. She said she'd look at my head. Her face really went a little bit cold, and she said I had to go to another nursing practitioner. They looked at my head. All of them said, "You have to go directly to the hospital." At this point, it had been about a week since my injury, and I went to Chulalongkorn Hospital. This is a big public research hospital in the center of Bangkok. Now, fortunately there, the staff spoke excellent English, and they assembled around my head, which apparently was extremely badly infected. And the doctor said that I could have sepsis, where the infection reaches the blood and I could die from this injury. So I was sent into a large room where doctors came and saw me. They cleaned out my head vigorously. They packed it with anti-burn material. And they told me I had to visit a nearby clinic for a daily head cleaning for the next 2 weeks. Now, none of this was done with any anesthetic, and they'd open up my head every day, scrub it out. I took to having a beer before I'd go for my visit, and that kind of numbed the pain a little bit. But the care was actually excellent, and they did a good job at Chulalongkorn. And over that 2-week period, the head infection cleared. But at the end of the day, my lack of health insurance could have cost me my life because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And the last thing you want to deal with when you're injured, potentially incapacitated, is thinking about money and the costs. Don't make that same mistake. You can pick from a wide range of different health providers, but you do want to have one. And if you do make the same mistake as me and you don't have coverage, make sure to go to one of those large public hospitals like Chula. They'll speak English, you'll get excellent treatment, and the cost is very reasonable. This brings me to my next mistake, yet another organizational mistake. This was failing to develop a strategy for accessing my money in Canada here in Thailand. And I spent almost a year paying ATM fees, exorbitant ATM fees. Get yourself a strategy very quickly. You can contact legal agencies that'll help you open up a Thai bank account and then use TransferWise to access money. You'll save a lot over time. As you can see above me, I think the sky is about to open up and we're gonna get a rainstorm. That's it for me and my big mistakes that I made here in Thailand. I don't regret any of them. I learned. I had a great time along the way. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.